Hi there. Today I want us to talk about healthy boundaries in marriages and relationships. The reason as to why I want us to talk about healthy boundaries is because so many marriages are failing, so many relationships are ending. Why? Because the partners in these relationships and marriage do not have boundaries. And when you don't have boundary of anything, it means that anybody can cross over to your line. Anybody can overstep on your whatever you like, Anybody can overstep. Anybody can do anything with your relationship or marriage. So it is very, very important for you to have boundaries in relationship. Okay, so what are boundaries? In physical world, we know that boundaries can be a perimeter wall, boundaries can be a fence, flower fence, and when we build our houses, we make sure that we have fenced, to talk or to tell the people that, you cannot just come into my life or into my house the way you want. And in relationship, that is what it is supposed to be also. You're supposed to have those imaginary lines, because when it comes to relationship, boundaries are imaginary line that define how family members can relate with one another, and how family members can also relate with the outside world. So these boundaries are very, very important, because when you have boundaries, you will have less stress, you will have less conflict. Okay. Now, we have three types of boundaries, and some of these boundaries are bad boundaries that can kill a relationship. So, number one, we have a diffused boundary. A diffused boundary is that boundary that is so open. It's like there is no boundary, it's a porous one. Everybody can just come into your relationship the way they want. They can just go out the way they want, and you have no say over it, because the boundary that you have set is a porous, or it's a diffused boundary. Yeah. Then we have another boundary that is called a rigid boundary. Rigid boundary is where the walls are the differentiation. This is where your resources are yours, and those of your partner are his or hers. So it means that your resources or the resources of one partner cannot be used by the other partner. Okay, and this boundary kills marriages. Why? Because if our boundaries within this relationship are that rigid, are that tight, rigid boundaries are so tight. My things are my things. Even if we are in this relationship, your things are your things. And these boundaries are the ones that, let me use an example where us women say, my money is my money. That is a rigid boundary, because you want to tell us, all I am saying, you cannot use my resources in this relationship. Okay, assume your partner is not working, you know, and I'm not saying that people should go out there and be lazy. No. I'm just saying that you assume that your partner is not working, and now uh, the boundary that you have in your relationship is rigid. It means that your family will sleep hungry. Yeah, you have money, but because your money is your money, not for the family, then your family can go hungry. That is a rigid boundary, and it's so dangerous in a relationship. Then we have boundary number three, which is an adaptive boundary. An adaptive boundary is that boundary where resources of one family member is available to the other family members. This is where you feel very comfortable when you are acting on behalf of the family. In this case, it means that one person can use the resources of the other partner as long as it is for the growth of this relationship. So adaptive boundary is the best for married couples, is the best for relationships, for those people who want to thrive, for those people who want to succeed in their relationship. So as you build these boundaries, because there are steps of building or creating healthy boundaries. As you create these boundaries today, I want you to have in mind that the best boundary for you to have is an adaptive boundary. Okay? And for you to be able to create a marital boundary, you must have your own boundaries as a person, You must be able to create your own boundaries first, and then after having your own boundaries, then you can create the marital boundary. Okay? And now, sometimes boundaries fail to work. If people or if couples or if partners in this relationship didn't agree on these boundaries, so what are you supposed to do in this relationship for your boundaries to work and for you to have less conflict, for you to be peaceful in this relationship, for everybody to know, oh, in faith relationship there is this is up to where I can go, for you to make sure that you're not being overstepped. Okay, so what are you supposed to do as a couple? You are supposed to agree mutually on the boundaries that you want to set. Okay, then announce those boundaries such that every partner knows that this is the boundaries that we have in this relationship. Then after that, defend those boundaries, because if you set boundaries and you don't announce them and you don't even defend those boundaries, it means that it's like you don't have any boundary, because you're not defending your boundaries. So when you are setting these boundaries, remember to set together as a couple, because when you set boundaries together, it will connect you. Okay, then announce those boundaries such that every member of this family knows that this is our boundaries. Then after that, defend those boundaries. When you defend your boundaries, you have less conflict. You are at peace. You are more peaceful, and you have that spicy and exciting relationship. But when you don't have boundaries, you will have resentment all the time, because people will overstep, on your boundaries, because they don't know that there is a boundary there, you know. So when you have boundaries, make sure to announce and then defend those boundaries. Thank you